Welcome into the Spotlight here on Wrestling Spotlight. Today, we are closing in on one of our featured promotions. A little holiday special here from Wrestling Spotlight. Pro South Wrestling. It's their biggest show of the year, the anniversary show, their biggest title. The Pro South Championship is on the line next Friday when forever tragic Cameron Keast takes on Caden Auden. He's going to be seconded by Harley Haven. We are joined by the forever tragic Cameron Keast himself here. Cameron, hey, thanks for taking the time to come into Wrestling Spotlight. I know it's a busy time of the year. How do you feel going into this match? Can you preview the match a little bit for our viewers?
I'm excited myself personally. This is the first time I've ever gotten to main event one of our anniversary shows, and it's been quite a year for myself and Caden Newton and Pro South in general. And it's always really good to see when the anniversary season comes around, like all the year, like all the events we've had over the year, everything that's built up to this moment, finally getting to see a big climax. It's a lot of fun. A lot of great stuff there.
Yeah, and that's what everybody fights for, right? Is the coveted championship, right? The Pro South title, the big title.
Oh yes, and like I said, it's quite the road to get to this point. I had to enter the Battle Rumble this year back in September, and entering at number 1, despite the fact that at that point in time, I was the YouTube champion, but I was more importantly actually under the control, being forced to be aligned with Caden Newton and Harley Haven. Managed to get my freedom, and here I am at this, at the summit for the big final battle with Caden Newton.
And I just want to put a little perspective in. I mean, Pro South Wrestling has a tradition. There are, you see it right on the graphic, 713 episodes. To put that into perspective, AEW, All Elite Wrestling, just hit 150 recently. So this has been around. It's been going for a while. It's one of the biggest pro wrestling promotions in the Southeast. I know, based out of Alabama. And you can see the episodes right here on Wrestling Spotlight. And, we really do appreciate everybody who watches on TCL Plus, downloads the True TV Plus app, watches on Sports TV. But you see it. It's a weekly pro wrestling show, and you're getting those intense rivalries. And Cameron, I know you've been there for almost a decade now. Your age your youthful look and your age kind of belie your experience, don't they?
Yeah, I showed up to Pro South in about August of 2016, which was right before my first Battle Rumble. This past one was my 9th Battle Rumble in a row. So I've been there, for going on 9 or 10 years. I'm almost at a decade. I'll now have been a part of more anniversary shows than I have not been.
Okay. And now what, just talking to the viewers, talking to the Wrestling Spotlight Galaxy out there. I guess we can't say universe, right? That's the other guys. What makes Pro South Wrestling different? What's the unique style? Because every promotion has a style, right? New Japan, All Japan, WWE, AEW. What is Pro South style? What do people see when they tune in?
Well, I can confidently say that one thing you're going to find here that you're not going to find as much of, or as prominent amount of, is the storytelling, the character work, character development, long-term storytelling. There are things that have happened recently that reference things that, would reward longtime viewers from going back as far as 2020, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And we have such a big, long history that there's always stuff like that, like people from the past that pop back up that you wouldn't expect. And everywhere around here, they really pride themselves on what their in-ring brings. And as great as all their in-ring is, we're the story show. things that you see our guys do in the ring, though not all of them is going to be to the like athletic level as you'd see on like TV or maybe the big deal indies around the place. But what you're going to see in Pro South that you don't see as much of everywhere else is the passion and the commitment to the brand, to the show, to the audience, to what Pro South means to all of us. Like myself personally, I'm very proud for everything I've managed to do as a part of Pro South over the last almost decade, and been very proud to represent the brand in any way I can, anywhere I can. And that's, it's not just me. We have a locker room full of guys that do that. Like at Pro South, we are 100% there for Pro South, for our passion for Pro South.
Well, and well, you should be, because I mean, I got to credit everybody involved in Pro South. You know, we relaunched this channel about a year ago, and I've been, you know, scouring the internet, watching different promotions around the country. And something that really stood out with Pro South is the presentation and the consistency of the presentation. There's a lot of really, really good independent wrestling shows, and they struggle to do 2-3 a year. You guys, it's every week. It's a weekly TV show, 2 hours. I mean, it's it. I mean, it is a mainline, full steam pro wrestling show, 2 hours, like you said, with stories, with, you know, people you can follow, you can relate to, and you can get behind or start to hate, because you see their matches develop. And that's so unique to the greater pro wrestling landscape, because there's a lot of independent territories where, okay, this match is happening because, just because. And I think that means something, because it gives the people a reason to care.
It's something to be invested in, a reason to follow the story, a reason to follow the characters. And we pride ourselves on that a lot. Even if somebody isn't like the best in the ring, Pro South has a way of more or less disguising that, or making you not really pay attention or care about that, because there's something about this character that you gravitate towards and that you care about, and you want to see what happens to this person.
Well, speaking of that, as we take a look, we got like I said, the Pro South Championship. Tell me a little bit about Kid and Newton and Harley Haven. What do we need to know about them? What was going on? I mean, you said you were under their control too.
Yeah, so this match, I'd almost say, other than perhaps with the exception of one other match on the card, this definitely has the most build and story behind it, because this goes back very, very long time ago, to where I wasn't that great of a person to be around. I was pretty evil, I'll admit. And Caden Newton and Harley were both a part of a group that I ran called the Kids of Keast. And over time, I started to realize that the choices I was making was really negatively affecting these people I care about, and tried to make a change to the way I did things, the way we did things as a group, as a family. And they didn't agree with that. And I was excommunicated from the group, and Harley Haven took the group over for herself, renamed it the House of Harley. I've since dealt with that problem, but you know, you can't just expect problems to go away forever. Harley and Caden came back for me, came back for revenge. Harley had this plan put together to try to make me my old self and I risked putting my freedom and safety on the line in a match. They won, and they gained control of me for a few months, and several times really put the psychological torture to me. A lot of stuff changed about me in that time. Some people would call it PTSD, but I've worked through it, and here I am at Anniversary. And Caden Newton, the irony in all of this is I now must face him as the monster that I helped him become, and he must now face the monster that he reminded me that I used to be.
brought out the inner demons. So now it's time to settle it, and the belt just happens to be in the match as well for a little bit of added drama. Let me ask you about the
won
match that
Pro South. Sorry, he
yeah,
won the Pro South Championship back at the Battle Rumble on the same night I won the Battle Rumble to become champion. So fate has this weird way of making Caden and I continue to stay at war, seemingly forever.
Bringing you together. Let me ask you about the match on the graphic behind me too.
Well, that's just a general, like our roster, some of our
rosters,
some of our main people. Yeah.
Who's
just
going to get
preview who all will be there.
Sure.
Because Brother Azriel on the far right, there's Brother Azriel. He'll be in the Unchained match for the All Out Championship, and who else is on there? Aiden Andrews and Christian Pierce will be against each other. Oh, there we go. He got 2 out of 3 falls. Donnie Primetime and Brandon Watley. Another long-term story behind that. Actually, both of these guys were, they trained together. They were both Ace Haven trainees from back in the day. Both have since gone, separate ways in and out of Pro South over the years, and here they are at Anniversary 16, crossing paths yet again. They've had a few matches over the past few months, both with, each of them getting separate wins. So best way to settle this is 2 out of 3 falls.
Okay. Then we have a tables match going on. Aiden Andrews and Christian Pierce.
Well, I'll tell you the thing about this match is it's not really going to be so much of a tables match as it is a pure fight where one guy is going to try to throw the other through a table. These two used to be a part of a group called Atonement, and this group ran roughshod over Pro South, caused a lot of problems for a lot of people, and these were 2 of the real violent members of the group. And since the implosion of the group, obviously they haven't seen eye to eye. And anytime nobody's watching either of these guys, they are going to find the other and just proceed to beat the crap out of each other as much as they can. So several times throughout the weeks, we've had just random times where they brawl in the door in the middle of some other match, something that has nothing to do with them is going on, and they're brawling inside because they can't stay away from each other. And it's all going to culminate, hopefully, when one of them is able to put the other through a table.
Factions tend to fall apart. It's just a matter of time, right? The biggest factions tend to fail. Nothing's forever in pro wrestling, and that's the good thing too, right? Because never say never.
Yep, it's constant evolution and progression.
Absolutely, yeah. There's always another chapter. The YouTube Championship is up for grabs in a crosswire match. Ace Haven going up against Scott Spade. Tell me a little bit about the crosswire match. What's that stipulation?
The crosswire match is pretty much our version of the Ultimate X. So above the ring, 2 steel cables.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
2 wires crossing, and in the middle will be the YouTube Championship. And this is the one I was referencing about probably having more story than mine. These 2 go back years, former best friends, longtime friends. I believe Ace even trained Scott Spade, and recently Spade's come out of more or less a string of hiatuses and breaks, and he's come back and managed to win the YouTube Championship. And it's the last championship that Ace Haven needs to complete his Pro South Wrestling Grand Slam.
And how many people can claim being Grand Slam champions?
At this point, 2, and I am the only one that's active on the roster at the moment.
Yeah, I thought I saw that. That's pretty impressive.
Actually, if I win tomorrow night or Friday night, I will be the first ever 2-time Grand Slam champion.
2-time.
But as of right now, I'm the only active Grand Slam winner.
Let's ask about the All Out Championship. The Unchained match.
This has got some detail to it. So Jake Franklin has recently won the All Out Championship. For months. Back in August, Brother Azriel managed to win the All Out Championship in a great match, and has since then been locked in a constant struggle with Julius Pryor over like who's the strongest. And can Pryor do it? Can he put away Big Az? And Pryor was about to come so close. And then Jake Franklin snuck in the back door, and the commission, who's a group that's recently been giving Pro South issues, a guy representing the commission has come in and has more or less tried to take charge. And he's got a group of followers and cronies, and Jake Franklin has recently become one of them. So he made sure to add Jake Franklin into a very competitive title match so he could just sneak away with the title, whether he deserved it or not. And here we are where Jake Franklin gets the help of 2 commission people. Now it is every man for himself. It's not like 3-on-3, but Tsunami and Lincoln, as you can see there, they are members of the commission with Jake Franklin. And Joe Wood is a former referee turned wrestler who's been the actual brother of Lincoln in the commission. He has not joined the commission with his brother and is standing ground with Pro South. And they've been giving this man a really rough time lately. So that's the Unchained match. Man, it'll start with 2, and there'll be 4 guys handcuffed to a separate post every few minutes. One will be uncuffed, they'll be unchained, and they'll be let into the match.
Very neat. So in the spirit of an elimination chamber, but
pretty much,
obviously some gratuitous hits can take place because the other person's standing there chained to the mat.
That's happened.
So they're not in a cage.
That happens a lot.
You can go at them.
That's happened plenty of times over the years here. Yeah.
And, you got to be careful, too, when the group comes in to try and overturn the status quo. Got to be careful who you align yourself with, right? Because if you don't succeed in overturning, you're on the wrong side, and maybe on the wrong side looking in.
Yep. If we ever get rid of this commission problem, there's going to be quite a few people with no friends and no allies.
I mean, we just went through some of the matches that are on the show, but it's a lot of different match types, different levels of aggression, different levels of athleticism. What's your favorite kind of match? Because you got pretty much every type of stipulation match available. What's your favorite? What's your go-to?
Usually it's kind of funny because usually you'll see me in the matches that have like wild things attached to them. Like in this year alone, I've had a chain match and a House of Tax, and I've been throwing fireballs and all kinds of craziness. But here I am just doing a wrestling match. Me personally, I'm a story guy. I just want it to, as long as it, like, whatever match is happening, as long as it goes along with what's going on perfectly and tells this story effectively, that's what's important to me. Like, I love watching the Unchained matches because it's very chaotic, a lot of unpredictability. I can't wait to see what type of things happen in the Crosswire match, because certainly a lot of athletic things will be on display there. And then the tables match where they're just going to beat the crap out of each other for several minutes. And then whatever happens with myself and Caden. Personally, I like some lucha, I like a little bit of high flying. I don't really do a whole lot of it, but I got a nice hybrid style that I kind of like a little bit of everything. If I'm being honest, I think my style kind of reflects that.
Yeah. Well, just for the sake of mentioning it to people that are in the area and have a chance to go, where can people go and attend the anniversary show, and where's the best way to get in touch with Pro South?
Well, you can, we are located in Piedmont, Alabama, but if that's too far of a drive to everybody, it isn't that big of an issue for us, because you can watch us from the comfort of your own home, on your phone, on TV. Just simply going to YouTube at Pro South Wrestling. We stream live every week, every Friday night, 7:30 Eastern, or not Eastern, Central Time, sorry. And it's Pro South Wrestling on all the socials. We have a TikTok, Instagram, of course, X and Facebook. Pretty much you can find us anywhere that you need to find us, and Piedmont, Alabama, and YouTube every Friday night. And also throughout the week, we have several extra things throughout the week, like individual matches, Pro South Plus featuring extra interviews and stuff from a lot of the Pro South guys, reacting to things that have happened to them over the night. There's always something coming out in the Pro South, on the Pro South channel, through the Pro South pipeline.
And it's a great YouTube page too, because you can dig in and you can go back into the backlog and get yourself caught up with the stories, because like we've been talking about, it's not just a match. There's reasons behind each match. There's a reason to care. And you can get, some people may even like the commission. There's some people that are just anarchists and they don't want rules and they want to take over. And, some people can gravitate to that side. Probably not the right decision, but, I'm sure there's some people that are in favor of them.
Yeah, it's all moral gray areas.
So who has been your, let's say, your favorite opponent or your most dreaded opponent in your career in Pro South?
Favorite, some of the ones that really stick out to me, of course, they're going to be people that I've wrestled a lot of. I've wrestled Ace Haven many times, and I always enjoy it. Eric Silva is another that I can always just have a great match with. Trevor Aon. Brandon Watley is somebody that I can just – we just always put on really good matches. We could do it in our sleep if we had to. Trying to think of, that's a really tough question, because there's been so many great people that I've had the pleasure of wrestling. But those are definitely some of my top favorites. I'd say Ace, Silva, and Watley, definitely my top three, I'd say. Dreaded, Aiden Andrews hits really hard, but even still, we have really good matches. Kata Newton, who I'm wrestling very soon, hits really hard, picks me up very high and slams me on the ground very hard and fast, and it hurts a lot. So I kind of dread that. That's going to suck.
Okay. Now,
people that hit hard, man. It's
yeah. Yeah, you get hit. I mean, you feel it. I mean, those chops, the knife edge chops hurt. I mean, the bruising's real, you get banged up. Yeah. And if anybody hasn't been in a wrestling ring, the cables aren't soft. They're steel cables with a wrap over them. And the edge of the ring is, in fact, angle iron. So if you're on the edge of the ring, it hurts.
Yeah, none of it feels good.
No, there's no way to know you're falling the right way. I mean, you're falling onto angle iron and you're getting thrown down. It doesn't feel good. Let me ask you this. Who has been your biggest influence? And it could be anybody. Your biggest influence in the pro wrestling world. Who'd you model yourself after?
There's a lot of wrestlers that I would say I've definitely taken some inspiration from. AJ Styles was my favorite wrestler growing up, but I didn't really adapt that quite of a high flying style. But Rey Mysterio has had a lot of stuff that inspired me. Amazing Red. Shinsuke Nakamura actually is probably who I think I've taken most inspiration from when it comes to my wrestling and my aura and persona and mannerisms. I'm trying to think who else I really enjoyed. Believe it or not, my favorite wrestler growing up as a kid was Rhino. I know that doesn't fit my style or anything like that, but I loved Rhino as a kid. But yeah, top inspirations: AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero for sure.
Eddie Guerrero, that's a good one. Sure, comes up often. Now, who would you say is excluding yourself, who would you say is the best pound for pound wrestler right now in Pro South?
Pro South?
Mm-hmm.
It's probably either Aiden Andrews or Brandon Watley. I think. Okay. Of course, Ace Haven also is fantastic and great. And I think a lot of people will when it comes to name something Pro South, they'll just kind of not think about Ace because it's, his thing. And they'll just be all right, other than Ace, who is this? But Ace Haven, great wrestler, wonderful wrestler. I've learned so much from. But I think I would say Aiden Andrews is probably, I think, the best pound for pound wrestler on our roster.
Okay. Great. And like we've been
I'll stand by it.
about,
Let's do it. Let's run it.
Okay, that's good. Like we've been talking about, it is coming up on next Friday. It's the annual anniversary show, and you are going to see our guest, Cameron Keast, going up against Caden Otten and Harley Haven for the Pro South Championship. So definitely plan to tune into that. You can check it out on the Pro South YouTube page. You'll be able to watch it just a little bit later than on Wrestling Spotlight, and you can catch some of the greatest Pro South shows on Wrestling Spotlight as well. Proud to have Pro South as one of the pillar promotions of our 24/7 nationally televised channel. And it's great to have you on here, Cameron. Hey, I just want to go with a little championship round, just to ask you a few quick hitting questions as we wind it down here. So let's go to our weekly champion.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Taya Valkyrie La Güera Loca, and you are watching Wrestling Spotlight.
So now we got our championship belts here, the Wrestling Spotlight Championship. I just want to ask you, who do you feel is winning the year of 2024? We're coming up on Christmas, pretty much wrapping up the year. Who would you give the Wrestling Spotlight Championship belt to? Anyone in the world of pro wrestling this year?
Just wrestling in general?
Yeah, your overall pro wrestling champion. It could be anybody.
I say Seth Rollins. I think,
really,
in my opinion, Seth Rollins this year has proved to me, and that, in my opinion, he's the best in the world. That might be a lot. That might be a big statement, but I just
I love Seth Rollins, and he did a great job at WrestleMania. We were there covering WrestleMania.
Exactly. Two nights in a row.
He was woven into multiple stories, and he's still doing it, because you're going to see, I mean, they haven't announced it officially yet, but it definitely looks like the main event on the debut of Raw on Netflix is going to be the best in the world, CM Punk, going up against Seth freaking Rollins. So, yeah, that's a good answer. I like that.
Thank you.
How do you feel about, and this is something where WWE and AEW are, I could say, following Pro South's lead. What do you think about the major companies moving to streaming?
I mean, I guess it's got to be a good move, because I don't think I've used cable in years, just because there's so many streaming services, and there's always ways to watch things if you don't have it. So like having it on Netflix makes it much easier. I'm not really entirely sure what's going on with like all the stuff on Peacock, if it's even going to be there or not. Like I don't really keep up with too much.
I don't think anybody is. I guess we'll find out in January.
But personally, I think streaming services has made, at least as far as like watching things mobilely, it's made it a lot easier. Like it's easier to me to find time throughout the day to watch bits and pieces of Raw, and then throughout the end of the day, it's equal 3 hours, as opposed to finding 3 hours every week to sit down and watch Raw. So for people who are always busy and on the go, I think it's definitely a great thing for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different world, isn't it? Because WWE is saying they're going to maybe have 5 times the potential audience going to Netflix, and AEW has said they're going to double their potential audience being on Max. So it is it's a night and day difference. For everybody that's talking about the ratings and man, the ratings were down this week.
It won't be about ratings anymore. It'll be about stream minutes and
ratings. Yeah,
and watch hours.
How many people are watching? Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely. And finally, who is your biggest wrestler to watch in 2025? Who are you focused in on, saying, "Hey, this guy, this lady, they're going to be the breakout"?
For 2025, I think I'm going to say Jordan Grace or Joe Hendry. I think
Okay.
I do a podcast with a friend. We talk about older wrestling, and I've told him I think Joe Hendry will show up in the Royal Rumble, and I think it's only a matter of time before Jordan Grace gets on NXT, if not flat out main roster.
Absolutely.
But I think there's a wonderful NXT title run for Jordan Grace. I think Jordan Grace is going to be a big thing for WWE over the next few years.
Yeah, you can definitely see it. And Joe Hendry,
he's just a star. He just has it.
Yeah, I mean,
that dude's just wonderful.
With almost no promotion, social media promotion, shows up on NXT, and him showing up on NXT becomes the single most watched social video from WWE for the year. And that's the company that, I mean, say what you will about them, they do social media promotion better than just about anybody. And he came in cold and had the most views. That's stunning.
That's big.
Big. That's a good one. And self-made wrestler, worked his way up. Yeah, I like that. That's good. Well, hey, let's just go back. Let's circle back in as we wrap up here. Pro South, the anniversary show is coming up Friday. Next Friday, you can see it at 7:30 Central. Check it out on YouTube. If you're in Piedmont, Alabama, you can see it in person. And all the stars of Pro South are going to be in action. Episode 713, the main event. Your Pro South Championship is on the line as Cameron Keast, our guest, takes on Caden Uten and Harley Haven, and trying to become the two-time Pro South Grand Slam champion. Well, best of luck to you from everybody here at Wrestling Spotlight, and
thank you
for taking the time to come on and preview the anniversary show for all the viewers. Definitely something you need to make a point to watch and tune in to Wrestling Spotlight to catch out some of the great work from Pro South Wrestling, easily one of the best independent promotions going in the country. There's not many that can say they have 700 plus episodes of weekly episodic television. That's a massive accomplishment. Congratulations to everybody there.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was great.
Oh, absolutely. Love to have you on, and we'll continue to focus in on promotions that are on the Wrestling Spotlight, and put the spotlight on Pro South as we move into 2025. Thanks a lot for taking the time to come in here, and like I said, best of luck bringing that title home, becoming a two-time Grand Slam champion.
Thank you.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, and we'll see you after the anniversary show. Thanks for joining us here on Wrestling Spotlight. Stay tuned for more sports and entertainment.